remember the labia garden jokes?
Oh no. All right.
I did invite students onto this. Okay.
There's not really best behavior.
I suspect I'm going to have some students this week too, because it's the first week without my students. So we'll see who shows up. Let's wait for Laura to sit back down before we go.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Because she has not played it before, so she gets to like see the game.
Ryan, it's really hard to hear you.
Yeah, you're getting muffled.
You are totally cut out.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I can fix that. Is this better? Yeah, let me do that.
Wow,
I taught my last class of the semester today.
Oh, congrats.
I just have grading and finals to do. Yippee-ki-yay!
Ki-yay! Woo!
Laura, I'm making an assumption about what your Twitter handle is as your
Yeah,
name, right?
it's correct, yeah.
One, that's it.
Okay, great. Followed.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are super excited to have Doug and Laura joining us. Doug, he's around this stream and has been good to us for a long time. He's one of our founding members, you know, because I reached out before I decided I was going to do this. I wanted like multiple people to host, right? And so Doug was the first person who was like, "Yeah, sure, man, I'll do that." And I was like, "We need two more people." Then we got Dana, and then the week after we got Julianne. So
it's awesome.
Yeah,
was the sub, the permanent sub.
I love these streams. I'm all about the approach that y'all take, and you know, the more I do this, the more I find like more and more students are coming to like me through Twitch of all things, and asking me like questions about music and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's great. This is such a great outlet for that. There's Laura.
All right, cookies are secure. Hello.
Nice, cookies are secure. Awesome.
Oh, okay. So do you watch Binging with Babish at all on YouTube?
No.
He's like a cooking channel, and his specialty is like making like dishes that you like see in a movie, like or in a video game, and he'll just like make it. Like he did a whole Breath of the Wild thing where he made monster cake and like mushroom risotto over a campfire and stuff like that.
Solid.
Nice. Really, really good. And he has a thing called Basics with Babish, and he had this chocolate chip cookie recipe that has like cinnamon, brown butter, and like extra salt in it, and it is just they're just big chocolate chip cookies. I think that's the best selling point. It's just how large they are. It's so good.
I would like one giant.
Nice.
Long way.
The intro here is much longer than I expected it to be. It's like 3 times the length of the PSX game.
Yes.
And right there we get the first hint of the Sephiroth theme. That's the first musical thing we hear.
So I can hardly hear it. I don't know
if it's very quiet.
I'll bump it up.
I don't know what it sounds like to anyone who's chiming in. Hello. Ooh. Hello.
Hello.
How's that, team?
Better.
Oh, that's better.
This is so pretty.
This really reminded me of Chicago in a certain way with these elevated trains and industrialism.
Yeah.
Uematsu! Woo!
Shout out to our homeboy. We've covered so many of his games.
Those cars definitely have auga horns.
Yeah.
For sure they do.
Ryan, can we check? Can folks in the? Yeah, I was just gonna say, can folks at home hear now? There's some comments about it not being able. There was no sound. Okay, it's better. Good, we're good.
Yeah.
Welcome, friends.
Welcome, y'all.
Welcome.
The kids playing there is a throwback like trailer shot for longtime fans, because that's one of the memorable locations on the PlayStation disc that you can pick up. Be like, oh, it actually is a remake of the game, as opposed to like this massive cityscape.
Mm-hmm.
From here on out's the original introduction to the game.
Drink appears into my background, by the way.
Oh, there's that girl.
I think.
She's so pretty in the remake.
Is that Cloud Strife?
Claudette.
Claudette.
Nice.
We're weeks away from Claudette.
The juxtaposition there of Sephiroth's theme with the intro theme as Aerith is there is amazing.
That is very good. I do like that.
I'm gonna get a lot of chills.
So Dana, have you seen the new one yet at all?
I've watched the entire Honeybee Inn sequence like multiple times because I have a lot of things to talk about when we get there.
Okay.
I saw a little clip of that, and I, for one, am excited.
I cannot wait.
I've played about 4 hours. And
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played it.
I have not played it. I am always the person that's going to be over here being like, everything is new.
This huge pan, by the way, was like, that's as far out as you went on the PlayStation,
Yeah.
and now it's like, oh wait.
This, in 1997, right, when this came out, like, blew my mind. As much as Final Fantasy VIII did as well, but for this Final Fantasy VII opening, I was like, we are in a new time. Holy crap.
It's
This is
because
real.
there was this smoothness
And you're like,
that after this arrival I want to talk about. This, like, the difference between
Ryan,
cutscene.
you're gone again.
Yeah.
I'll try
Can't
to
hear
talk.
you.
And that's a train.
I was gonna say.
And this is all the same as the original.
Right. Dana, that's where I went.
Yeah.
That's where I went, Dana.
What I was gonna say while the music was really loud, and sorry about that, is that
You are
this
so cracking up. Cannot hear you.
this smoothness here. Can you hear me now? Is it better if I'm back away
Yes.
from the mic a little bit? Okay. The
That's
smooth
good right
the
there.
smoothness between cutscene and gameplay was actually there in 1997. That was the magic.
Yes.
It didn't look like this, obviously, but
Nothing,
Say,
nothing
in
looks like this.
1997, this is not what I was playing, so...
honestly, this
I
game
was
really
playing
looks so
Civilization.
good. Like nothing else in 2020 looks like this either.
Yeah.
Ryan does sound loud, but so it sounds loud on for the people tuning in. But it's just that for us, you're just cracking out.
Yeah, it's like you're fighting the game
cracking.
sound.
Yeah, for sure. But it was better when whatever you did it to it.
I'll fix that for Skype, folks. Hold on.
We need to talk about Barrett's voice. But we should hear it some more.
Yes.
That should work a little better for Skype people.
Hey.
And then let me give you the game view back too. All right. Yes. Okay.
Oh! Who goes there? You're up. You're coming with us. Nice and easy.
Don't think so. Not bad. See ya.
So I would say that this sort of introduction, which is kind of following basically how it was in 1997, with this music, which is also following, but for the most part, there's some changes. It's just an orchestrated version of the bombing mission.
Have fun.
Was in 1997, it was meant to feel very continuous, almost like a film.
Yeah.
Sort of like you're just, you're fighting. There's no different battle music. You're
Go
just
ahead.
in it. And I think that this feels very like tonally the same, although we eventually get a lot of differences. I also feel too orchestrated. That's usually my opinion with a lot of these, is that a lot of those really cool PlayStation sounds get wiped out by this giant full
Drop the
orchestra.
weapon.
As Emberling
You got this.
had commented.
What'd he say?
I'm really impressed at how long they're able to sustain the bombing run music, though. This long on the PlayStation would feel repetitive, and there's a lot of different loops and variations and orchestrations going on.
You're coming with us.
Can't get surrounded.
There are different things going on too. Yes. Although it was
Try harder.
repetitive in original, but I was listening to the original again,
Let's go.
like the original soundtrack today, and remembering how it felt, like how this music does not feel so as loopy as it could feel, because we're coming from Final Fantasy VI, which was Final Fantasy III, and so as a kid, and I didn't have internet yet, so going from 3 to 7, I knew that there were missing games that I didn't know about, and that made me perceive this game as even further advanced, like so much more advanced. Because
Instead of
I
going
was
6 to
like,
7.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us?
where
now?
is 4
He's
or
got
5?
balls, this,
Yeah, 4.
What was his name again?
Cloud Strife.
Right.
And he isn't a soldier anymore.
Doug, you're really quiet.
Yeah, I
He's a
can't hear you,
professional,
Doug.
yeah?
Unlike the rest
So-
of us.
This was
I'm glad to
originally
have
this was
him.
released originally like on PlayStation, obviously, which was one of the
This
first
is a one-time
home
gig.
consoles to have
When
like
it's
Red
done,
Book audio.
We're done.
But
Yeah.
this soundtrack, this game, elected to use the onboard MIDI the whole time.
Really enjoy the
So they had way more
enjoy
room
looking
for
at
things like
too.
cutscenes, which is why it was so impressive, but also for more music. It was able to have longer stretches, longer swaths of
Yeah,
music.
a lot more tracks at trade for less quality.
And
Yes, exactly.
done here.
Or even the same.
Give it a rest.
Come on, nobody do something this crazy just for money.
I'm digging the chat. That's
They may
funny.
not think you're a true believer, but you know what I
Not
think?
Yeah,
interested.
Jessie was like a super minor character before, and now she's awesome.
Yeah. Most of the folks I know that have finished this have commented that some of the expansiveness has been awesome.
Wedge.
Yeah.
We get to know some of these minor characters a little better.
There's a Vixen Wedge in every Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah.
They're always
better be
different
worth the money, Merc. Every last gil.
Doug, thanks for using the original Vix and Wedge rather than Biggs and Wedge.
Yeah.
That
Oh, yeah.
original translation. The homage to Star Wars, right?
Here's your money shot. It's also Julian's background right now, right? No, hers is the next one, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one.
That's super funny.
Get him, boy! Here we go.
Oh, I'd love to hear about issues with Barrett, because he's always been an interesting figure.
Yes.
Not a black man's hair.
There's been a lot of discussion about Barrett sounding like a caricature of the angry black man, and we'll hear a lot more of him coming up.
I want to wait.
I
I,
think-
haven't heard him interact with Marlene yet, as far as I've played, so
Okay.
I'm going to withhold judgment on that for now. Right now, he's allowed to be in angry in charge mode, because literally he's the angry dude in
literally
charge.
that's what we're doing, exactly. And so
Right.
that's sort of the counter argument. It's like, well, that's what's happening, but so there's some nuance here.
Well, then, you know, also, let's remember just the text and how they wrote him differently in the original.
Yeah.
You know, I pictured him as Mr. T, basically, because of the way that they had him speaking.
Because of the tone of the actual text that was on the screen, yeah.
This way.
For better or for worse, how problematic that is as well.
Right.
Not so fast. We've got company.
Uh-oh.
Aw, looks like my cat.
That
You
dog.
might need to take your cat to the vet.
That's next week.
Which really makes me wonder. I don't know if anybody in chat is more familiar with the Japanese, the original. Often character differences are marked by giving them like a Kansai dialect. And I sort of wonder how Barrett was written in the original. So I don't know if anybody is more familiar with the original Japanese. So that's like a common trope in anime and a lot of things. It just sort of marks the character as being sort of humorous or different.
Right.
Right, I actually don't know the answer to that.
It's considered kind of a less refined, you know, to some like Tokyo ears, it sounds like a harsher dialect. So
Brooklyn accent or something. I think it's
Right.
hilarious how they use American accents, like, you know, when like they translate it and they're like, you know, all these people are living in the same city and they have hilariously different accents.
Right,
Like
yeah.
one person's Southern, one person's like Italian.
That's
yeah.
so true, yeah.
yeah, you have to have like all the types.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate that, you know, they couldn't update the hair. Like, they certainly have the ability to.
Command, but I hear they make
No
good
way.
guard
Like
dogs,
somebody,
too.
a good friend of mine said, you can
Bet you
smell the
see a few
Aquanet right now.
reactors. So how do we get to the bridge above Mako storage?
Hey, Hexacord.
Ain't holding out on me, are you?
Howdy ho.
Stamp scared to bite the hand that fed him? Or is he a loyal little doggy?
Ooh.
Have it your way, Mutt. We can do this with you, or we can do this without you.
Different reactor, different layout. Depends when it was built.
Gosh, it's
Never
weird to
seen
hear
one
him
like
talk.
this.
Yep. It's like, you know, over in our household, we've been playing Chrono Trigger, And it's easy to compare Chrono Trigger and the Final Fantasy games, as RPGs all came out around the same time. But to me, the biggest difference was the protagonist. Actually, Final Fantasy's always never had a silent protagonist, and Chrono Trigger and those series of games are strictly silent protagonists.
Yeah. I just don't know that this is the voice I pictured for him.
Can we talk about how smoothly
It actually
we
fits for
transitioned
me.
into the battle music instead of the bombing run music? Like
that was cool.
Yeah.
That's really good.
He's alone. We can take it. Make it rain.
You've got this.
The missionary, they hired him to
mercenary.
a mercenary,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
I did that too.
Wow, I just went right along with you. But yeah, so he's a mercenary. He's hired. I think because he was hired because he used to be like in like the military, and he knows like the layout of
Good
it.
thing I know someone who can get us the passcodes.
Yeah,
You know what else
but
but
it
will
appears
talk to
they
us,
are
but what can you do?
not police
we're good.
officers like that.
Careful in there.
They're the public safety. I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I got this.
So, in talking about Cloud's voice, and since Laura's here too, I'm wondering, can we draw parallels between the way voice actors are cast, and as far as their tessituras go, and the way opera roles are traditionally cast in terms of what voice type would play a lead character,
Well, that's
what
an
voice type
interesting
would
Oh, I
play.
think that's
Yeah,
a really
for sure.
fair ask, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And one that I think gets applied to 6 all the time because of the obvious operatic connotations that Ryan has published on.
Oh, blah blah blah. But
But
Let me go get the book.
I'm waiting
I
to
can
trigger
show
the
it on
switch, by the
screen.
way, because we have a cool thing happening right now.
Okay.
Granny Smith.
Hold on, I'm gonna hit it. We'll do this.
It's funny. I was like typing while I was listening to that.
Yeah.
So
Granny
you
Smith
know
Apple,
Tifa,
obviously.
right?
This
It's
is a
not
cool
really
moment
my
here.
business, but are you guys close?
I wonder what a Granny Smith opera would be.
Probably
I will quickly say on the
Verdi.
Oh yeah,
It's green.
Cloud!
Legit, Julianne. Nicely
Are you
done.
ignoring me?
Nicely done.
Very nicely done. I will say on the operatic voices that basically I would picture Barrett to be sung by Eric Owen. Like, just he plays him
Kind of
in the
looks like
opera
him.
of this. Yeah, like he has kind of the right tone for it. So
Right.
bass baritone ish.
Baritone.
I guess like I was thinking because like Cloud's got such a bright high voice, like, and then aren't traditionally like, especially in the romantic period, like, don't we see a lot of like lead heroes as tenors?
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure.
usually
Tenors
for
get the girl.
bases, like baritones and tenors can all be
These
like
sewer
leading
rats
men,
appear to
but
call
bass is a
themselves
particular
avalanche,
group
sir.
bad guys. Like you hardly ever see, or like father
We are
characters.
currently
Yeah.
investigating whether
I
they
was just
belong
thinking,
to
like,
the same
I feel like I
group
would
that made the
picture
attempt
Tifa
on
and
your life.
Eris as being like the
Rest
sort of
assured,
ingenue
our
soprano,
inquiries will
and
not take
I'm
much
struggling to think of
longer.
somebody that would be comparatively like more mature. I don't know the story, but like
Right.
I think
Their
Amenta
sole
would be
purpose is
like,
to
sort of
drain
like
the
the
planet dry.
mature,
While
like,
you
quote
sleep,
unquote more
while you
mature
eat, while you
Huh.
sit,
Type
and
Interesting.
sucking up
Yeah.
Mako. It doesn't
I
rest,
could
and
see-
it doesn't care.
I'm gonna wait for Barrett here.
realize what Mako is, don't you? Mako is the lifeblood of
Now,
our world.
Barrett is like
See
The
that
planet
he's a
bleeds
little
green
mature,
like you and me
that-
bleed red.
Can you
The
tell?
hell you think's gonna happen when it's all gone, huh?
I want to point out
Answer
Barrett
me.
is brash right here, but he's not the bad guy.
You
The
gonna
Shinra
stand
guy
there
has the
and
lowest
pretend you can't hear the flag
voice
crying
range that
out
we've had so
vain?
far
I
in the
know you
cutscene.
can.
Ah.
And he's clearly a bass,
You
right?
really hear
Heidegger.
Yeah.
Damn straight
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get help.
Say that again.
Yeah,
God, those are
Lindsay,
some
this is a
strong
1997
More about the
game
next
about
5
how
seconds.
eco-terrorism is
Save
good
the
to save the
screaming for
planet
later.
in the year 2020. That's
Yeah.
what you're watching right now.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think Tifa could almost be a mezzo because
Our lives
she
on
like
the line
Eris.
now.
Eris is definitely the ingenue, but like Tifa wishes she
You
was the
listening,
ingenue.
Merc?
Yeah.
One false
Yeah.
move.
I can see both. I think both
Well,
reasons
so
are
much
good.
for having Cloud do all the fighting.
Or Or at the very
There are some
least, Eris
places
would
a
be
sword
more
just
color
can't reach.
Tora, you know? So even if Tifa was a soprano, she would have kind of different lines written
Yeah.
for her.
Just bear with him for me, would you?
I mean, with my limited like opera experience, I would totally imagine
Should've asked
Eris
for more money.
follow Tora lines. Like Laura would play her. She's getting
Where'd she go?
She's getting the cookies, man. She's gonna eat them in front of us on the camera
More
now.
cookies.
No.
It's so sad.
I really want cookies now.
That was the last batch.
We all just want you to ship those to us.
Yeah, pretty much. Right through the screen, please.
Gonna throw your
Sir,
phone
right
out.
now.
Let the man
Welcome
with
to
the gun.
Benjamin Wallace of this book.
These tin cans ain't got nothing on me.
Oh my god, I just shot an empty wall. I suck at this game.
These tin cans ain't got.
It's an arm gun.
What?
Yes, his arm is a gun.
Everybody say hi to my husband. His face is cut
Hi,
off.
Hello, husband.
Hi.
Ah, hi there.
I just want to briefly point out a nuclear thing here. There are people who exist. These are real people who actually think Eris is better than.
Oh my god.
Thank you for that.
So it took me forever to shoot down these guns, and that's because my favorite academic presentation of all time is I have given a formal talk about how swords are way better than guns, and I will stand by that forever.
Do your job.
Nothing's better than a gunblade, TBH, but I agree. Shut up.
That's for both worlds.
Is there any turn-based combat in this, or is it all?
I think it's all this as far as I know.
Wow.
But this is in a weird way.
Oh, okay.
In that there's cooldown, right, for certain attacks?
So the basic attacks, it's like Devil May Cry, except there's only 2 buttons that aren't really combos. I just press square or I press triangle. Otherwise, I've got my full JRPG ability menu of spells and items that I could whip out, and those take time. So
I see.
I'm gated by how fast I can cast Thunder.
I see.
And I'm gonna be
Yeah.
spamming that pretty soon, so you'll see.
Nice.
Over here, actually.
So it's also interesting to hear this orchestrated. The Mako.
This is my biggest
Disappointment.
of this game.
All right,
Yeah.
hit us.
This
Let's
track
go.
right here.
Let's go.
Wait, what's
Mako.
wrong with this one?
First of all, it's supposed to be pronounced Mako, so
sorry.
whatever. I say Mako.
Wow,
I
okay.
say Mako.
I said Mako, but what do I know? I know
I'm
I'm
nothing.
among
Mako.
academics. I need to be learned every once in a while here. It's
No,
fine.
I think a lot of us said Mako.
I said Mako as a kid.
They'll cut you down.
I said Mako.
I said Mako.
I say Faxinadu.
Yeah.
It's true.
Best character in the
Just saying.
Exactly. I'll go first.
No,
like a little
this
danger to get the blood
track,
pumping.
which is called Mako Reactor or Mako
Just keep those
Reactor,
baby blues of yours
has
on
so
me.
many cool sounds. It starts with an out-of-tune piano. Like, it just starts, and it's so much of it is like askew and like really kind of projects the kind of grotesque technological industrial world of these reactors. And now it's just like, okay, everything is a pretty orchestra.
Yeah.
Okay, and it still gives you like the sense of the trudging, the da, 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 but like that's it. That's all the character that comes out from the original. So
I completely
fucked.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if in other places in the rest of this soundtrack, we're going to sacrifice that kind of industrial grit for the orchestration.
Right. Yeah.
Because if so, I think that's a huge missed opportunity. They could have really pulled out some like 90s Trent Reznor effects and made them even more realistic and
Like a walk in the park, huh?
Could we just pull out 90s Trent Reznor
in
All
general.
the time.
period?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Also.
Not a scratch. No?
But that would not be at all at odds with this. And I feel like I was listening to Nine Inch Nails about the same time I was playing this game originally.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that orchestration doesn't necessarily just mean writing for orchestra.
right.
It's just
Right,
how
for
how you assign the notes, you know?
But right now, it is orchestration.
Yeah.
There's some like sweeping
orchestration.
techno sound effects in here.
We can take this.
There are, and but you
That hunk of junk is a
can't
heavy
hear
weapon.
that under the sound effects.
If we rush in,
and us talking.
we die.
Is that
I did listen
We
to
did
it
it
by
with
itself,
magic.
and I was like, oh, I can
That should
kind of
give
hear
us an
some
opening.
cool stuff in the background. It's very low in the mix. Very, very low.
Try this.
Whereas the original, in the main, it's like the main melody.
Let's put it down. Give it all you
Ryan,
got.
use magic.
I just did.
Oh. Do it again.
Of course. It just had to get back up.
So we
Yeah,
knock
you
it
have a
down
command
again.
you can do.
Hold on.
Oh,
Now
wait,
that
I'm
it's
looking on
staggered,
screen.
we're all set.
Time to complain.
Oh, you do have a command you can do.
And if the other Final Fantasy.
Did you say that?
Offensive.
Offensive,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what I did there is I had Barrett use the magic, and then I switched back to Cloud during his cast time to keep sorting.
First class.
Ah, sweet.
Also, that's a verb.
Sorting.
I mean your age, not your goddamn rank.
Oh, he said damn. Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope you have your literature filter on the stream, you know.
Are they gonna say that?
Hello.
Yeah, they don't come
Hermano.
that far.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Folks at home.
I agree. I've played through the first half of Crisis Core now. It's on my to-do list. And-
I guess I don't buy that. That's like saying, like, I don't know.
Well, I wonder who the different sound people are between the two. Like, I don't know who's involved.
Could just be different
That's our
priorities.
target.
Yeah.
The reactor
But-
core.
Yeah.
Gotta set the bomb at the bottom.
Oh, they're gonna blow it up.
You gonna blow it up?
Let's get down there.
We are
I
gonna
think-
blow it up.
Even if both had a lot of industrial elements and they both lend themselves to using a lot of that, like, it's appropriate here. So, like, at no point would I be sitting there being like, oh, that sounds a lot like another soundtrack. Like,
Right, yeah.
I only care about how well it suits the game it's in, you know? I don't care what...
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to see what else it sounds like, but at no point would that bother me.
Heads up.
Yeah.
Now, I heard somewhere that a lot of this music is like the Distant Worlds orchestrations. You guys know if that's true or not?
That's not true.
That's
not
not.
true.
Doesn't sound like it to me.
Only because it doesn't sound like it, and I've tried to listen to the different soundtracks and the Distant Worlds versions, and they're similar, but they are different in
Gotcha.
significant ways, I think. So,
I think that's coming mostly
I'm not
from
sure if
people
that's totally
who
true,
just
though.
hear the orchestra and they're like, oh, they both have the orchestra.
Oh, totally.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the lead.
I do know I can speak to the specific chord progression of the prelude in this game, if you hear it at the title screen or on the soundtrack, is way different and more complex than what we're used to.
Ah. Cool.
You know what's funny? It's like people that don't have trainers, like you can either go in one direction or the other. There is no middle ground. It's either, oh, this sounds exactly like this other piece I heard once and in no way resembles it. It just happens to both have violence, whatever.
Yeah.
Or if you change one thing that isn't even like you go from like MIDI brass to recorded brass, and I'm using that as an example because Gareth Coker talked about this at a presentation about his Arc Asylum, I think it's called, music. And all he did was re-record the brass with real instruments, and people were mad. This doesn't sound anything like the original. It's like, oh, it's completely ruined. And he was like, I didn't change anything. Oh my God.
That's really funny.
It's
Wow.
like really frustrating.
Wow.
Austin Wintry actually gave a talk about a similar thing. He got a lot of comments on his soundtrack to Abzu that was like, oh, this sounds just like the Tomb Raider score from this random Tomb Raider game. And
All
it
right,
could not have been more
let's see
different.
if Little Stamp really can bite the hand that
And he
feeds.
was like, I have to accept that some people are just going to hear
Go
what
on,
they hear. I have
do
no
the
control over
honors.
that. It was like,
That's
Prove to me you're the man
Yeah,
Tifa says you are. That you're one of us.
Never said I was. I'm just here for the paycheck.
Whoa.
Oh.
I don't know why I can't. I'm not going to be able to take his voice seriously.
I'm gonna say that at like my next gig or something like that. You know, like,
I'm just here for the paycheck.
And then you set a bomb and run away.
You have a giant sword strapped to you.
Thanks so much for your for
That's
being
your
part of our
marimba.
ensemble. I never said I was. I'm just here.
Can I just say how one of the things that I'm very excited about in my minimalist Animal Crossing experience is the marimba that I have in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that. And I have a thumb piano, and I'm just like, this is my little pitch percussion corner. Yeah, babe. Here I am.
Finally got a violin.
Pretty cocky, ain't you?
Oh. I only just got a slingshot. This is where I am in my life.
Okay, I don't feel so bad for like only playing once a week anymore.
No, I put in time every day, but not very long.
I haven't played today yet.
So.
I want to point out quickly, this boss fight is a tutorial boss fight normally in the original. Like, don't swing when the tail's up. It's like the Mist Dragon or whatever in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
It's legitimately terrifying here.
It's hard. It's hard.
God, yeah. This does not look like a tutorial.
I almost died playing this. Because you are learning how to actually play and switch between the characters and doing the right things.
And we haven't really talked yet about the changes to combat.
Keep it up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Would love to think about that.
I just played this game on my stream like a few hours ago.
Yeah, I actually caught a little bit of this.
I did not, but by chance did you have a sudden influx of any of my students?
I might have. I have a lot of people watching. Can you tell them to come?
I back in the way back machine day. This is my last week of teaching, and this week was scheduled to be game music out of games and into the concert hall. So
cool.
I had them do some fandom study stuff and some of Will Gibbons' book on the concert repertoire. I pointed him to the colloquy and JC. And I basically was just like, here are some streams that would be really cool for you to check out, and some YouTubes, like go see Samus perform at MagFest. But also, if you want to check out some live music, you should go over to Drum Ultima. And I have no idea if any of my students actually did, because I put the thing up on Monday, and I was like, today, like, whenever, just see. I have no idea if anybody did, but it was like super funny.
That's awesome. I mean, like, I've been seeing more and more streams recently, which is really cool. It's certainly interesting. It's a different experience, and now I feel like I have to behave myself a bit more. But
I'm trying to get my tech set up because I'm streaming now with myself, but I'm watching way more streams just because it's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I'm having fun with it.
In these trying times, it's such a great way to socialize.
In these trying times, yes. Yeah. It's true.
We love doing it.
I've found a very small few streamers that I really am digging these days, so I try to tune into them when I can. And I'm just having a blast with that, so.
That's awesome.
I agree with all of this. I'm in my, not quite autism mode, fighting this thing. Where I, full, biting my lip tongue, Asperger's, thing going on, focusing really hard, not paying attention to any of you guys, sorry.
Totally fine. You play the games.
We're trying to figure out, if this is the boss theme or not. I actually can't hear it. So I was trying
This is not.
I keep...
Oh, no, yeah, this is the boss theme. It's the original boss theme.
Yeah. Don't dance with me to hell in the chat.
Take it over. Focus and find a way.
Not perfect there.
Right,
Little night on Bald Mountain there with the strings.
Yeah. I actually like the orchestration for this track. It gives it a lot more excitement. The really good track is the escape after this, though. That's phenomenal.
Okay, I hear it. I hear it now. Alright, whatever.
Don't get hit. Take cover behind that debris.
Take cover behind that chest high wall.
Okay, so it's both. It's literally both. I can hear it now. But, I mean...
Strike now, before it fires again.
I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos.
Just like that. Yes.
Oh. Well, whatever, I got hit.
Gotta memorize.
Ring.
No shit. Military-grade armor and a reactor? Heads up! Tail laser!
I see it.
Then take cover already!
Uh-oh.
So what's also different is that this boss does not happen during the countdown timer.
Correct,
Which is
it happens
kinda
before.
nice.
Strike now, before it fires
Always
again.
a little bit scary.
Oh.
Yeah, I know I'm taking damage. Shut up, James.
Gotta heal up.
No, you don't. Just swing.
Heal up. You heard
Oh,
that?
gotta heal up.
Honestly, you do gotta heal up.
It's like when I'm not playing very well, and Joe's helpful suggestion is you should try playing better.
Yes.
You should try not sucking.
I should tell that to my kids when they need help. I'll just be like, quit sucking.
Really no other option.
Shot, be my guest.
Did you just link me a YouTube clip? Like,
Going in.
what are you, a boomer?
You know, I wonder with, like, in terms of the voice direction here, like, I can't imagine a circumstance where Cloud would say gotta heal up unless he was talking to somebody else. I think they made that clear with the voice actor.
What is Candy in there, Duh?
Not a repair kit.
Barrett is much louder than
Take it out
Duh.
quick or we're screwed.
Oh, I am way ahead of you.
Gotta time our attacks just right. Hold out until you spot an opening.
At least as far as I know, because I haven't
It's just really hard for us to
Mad.
entire own
done it professionally, is that like voice actors are given very little background about the characters beyond like just this one sheet of paper that they tell
When I get my chance,
uh,
I'm gonna blow this bastard to hell. And
like
that's
if there's a reference to it they're trying to emulate, in which case like that might have really thrown the Cloud before backdrop.
Yeah.
Something that was like you know, 220 or 250 or whatever, and they don't like table reads or anything. Just come in and read the lines. And that's kind of it. And
Yeah.
I would find that disappointing, like creatively. For me. Like, how can you got back to hearing the other actor, especially in a scene where you're like in a dialogue.
Yeah.
But definitely for this battle chatter type stuff, like I feel like they're not like I don't know if the voice direction or the actor, like I really don't know who would be at fault or if there's even a way around this, but like if this is taking place in a battle, because they have gotta heal up, it's like gotta heal up. You know?
It's not gonna go down
Yeah.
easy. Focus.
Alright, I'm actually going to turn the game volume down a tiny bit so we can hear each other.
Yeah, that would be good.
We're really
Thanks.
fighting. I mean,
We're all
once we
fighting.
get out of this, when we get out of this sequence, it. I can't imagine it's this bad, right? It's just the
escape
intensity of
sequence
what
is
we're
also
doing.
going to be loud, though.
Yeah.
So we can turn it down a
No,
little
but
bit for now.
I mean, once we're just in the city and
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Uh-oh.
Embarrassing.
And the bomb's gonna go off.
They're
I
gonna
feel
bomb
like-
some tacos right now.
Yeah.
I feel like the scorpion setting it off and then you have to like panic and run is a lot more dramatic. I like that as a change.
You hear that? Damn thing showed you how it's done.
Come on, we've gotta move.
Yeah.
This orchestration for bombing run, so good.
Ooh, you got a timer.
It also
Yeah,
really
if they
doesn't
gave him, like a piece
take
of
that
paper
long.
that said Mr. T on it, and that's all he had to go on. Then, like,
Yeah.
no wonder it came out this way.
Right.
Right.
Get out of him!
Road.
lots to unpack.
Here we go.
This is a game where Cloud's sword is actually 5,000 swords.
That's
Like a million different pieces to it.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
The story's just really, really big.
Yeah, it's in Advent Children. He splits the sword up into a bunch of pieces, right?
Oh, yeah, that, okay.
Yeah. Oh, we just missed it. We'll have to catch it next loop. There's a little, like, hesitation in the music that I'm in love with. We'll catch it the next time it comes around, though.
Yeah.
The first time I did this, I was panicking because I did the first hour of this game for my students for the last day of class. I had no idea how long it would take here. And it does not take 20 minutes, so...
It does not take... Or 30, which is your other option.
Just pause the timer for you.
Yeah.
I know. It also pauses, I think, in the menu, in your menu, unlike, I think, the original, right? I think you...
Right, the originals all continue. The timer events in 5, 6, and 7 all continue in the menu.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, honestly, that would be more realistic to me, because, like, they definitely just had a conversation that lasted 10 seconds, but
Yeah.
maybe this was, like, not workaroundable.
Right.
Yeah.
This is I'm impressed it's a different orchestration of the same piece we had earlier.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Also, with the timer, like, I can imagine, though, like, it would be somewhat immersion breaking to force a player to not have the choice to run and not converse, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you're going to have the timer run down, you don't give the player a choice to, like, ignore it, you know?
Right.
And, like, in a lot of RPGs, you can walk away from somebody while they're talking to you, and the dialogue box just goes away, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had strong Uncharted vibes from this sequence, incidentally. Like, where I'm a stunt double, I have to be in the right place at the right time. There's not really any choices for me to make, except the right ones.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, almost a platformer, but not.
Every time
Yeah.
I play Uncharted, when I die, I imagine somebody saying, cut, cut.
Yeah, it's such a good example of a very cinematically styled game. I use that as an example of that.
Cool it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Uncharted 3 and 4. Yeah.
Little baby boy. Bad.
Yeah, I can agree with the orchestration opening up variations on a theme to cut down on the amount of total repetition,
Right.
which is a plus.
Yeah, I love the dark change. I know it's like, I know like every game does this, but I never get tired of it. It really like immerses in the world. Like, an example of a game where like looping does not work for me is Heavy Rain. I think you guys played that one, but it's
Yes,
like
yes, I have.
incredibly awkward loops that like the piece just comes but does stop and just starts again.
Ugh.
And it's like, ooh, it kind of breaks the immersion a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how not to loop 101.
Yeah. Like, I love the sound. I keep begging gang. I was like, we have to do the PlayStation Hobbit from like 2004 on stream sometime, because I think the music is really, really good. A lot of it is really, really like catchy, but there are some looping issues in there that do that, and it is like slightly jarring. Where you're like, you could have maybe joined those up at the end,
Right.
like or something, instead of just being sort of like, no, we'll just pause.
Yeah, they
For
do
sure.
that in Heavy Rain. It like leads up to this dun 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 dun, then dead stop for 5 seconds, and then dun, 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 dun,
Oh my
dun.
God.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's
And then-
terrible.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
We'll have to
actually...
do the Hobbit sometime.
The music aside, I'm generally more a defender of Heavy Rain than an outright hater of the idea, but the execution of the idea is pretty
totally.
damn terrible.
Yeah, I love the
But
concept
the,
that yeah,
the
actually
murder
enjoyed
mystery
playing-
as a game, like, I love a good murder mystery. Bring it on.
Yeah.
It's a good example of like why in video game music, and this is, you know, important for anybody who wants like looks at games and is like, oh, I want to compose for video games someday. Like, the implementation side of composing for games is super important. It's like, I mean, in some ways, like being a composer and involves this, a great deal of technological prowess as well. Not just to like use the technology to write the music, but to actually get it in the game. And you have to collaborate with your programmers. And I mean, to me, with Heavy Rain, it sounds like from what you're describing, they just didn't have that kind of collaboration happening.
Right. It's just
I
kinda
wouldn't,
awkward
I wouldn't
implemented.
advise you play it, Doug, unless it's like a drinking game at MagFest or something.
Oh yeah.
Like, I would imagine that good implementation can elevate music that is just fine,
Yeah.
but bad implementation completely ruins good music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that can really happen. for
There's
sure.
a statement in academic film music studies that says if you're stopping and thinking about the music, something's probably gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been challenged here and there, but on the whole, I don't really
We are
have a
music
problem
theorists.
with that as your modus operandi for film and games.
Yeah.
And you notice bad implementation far more often than you notice good implementation.
Right.
It reminds me a little bit, that comment reminds me of, in slightly different field, The Crystal Goblet by Beatrice Ward. It's an essay on typography, and she compares typesetting to, a wine glass, and how you could have one that's like a chalice that's like pewter and it's got jewels in it, and it's just, you can't see the wine on the inside. And then you look over at the crystal goblet, and it's just this beautiful, the form and the function are intertwined, and you can see the wine, you can appreciate it, it brings out the characteristics of the wine. And she says that good typography should aim to be like the crystal.
Oh, interesting. I like that analogy.
I think it's kind of similar to this idea of like, it's not to say that the music takes a back seat to the visual, because it is doing so much more than people realize. But when it stands out, it tends to be in the wrong way.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want it to be just like working on you.
Yeah, that's fair.
For sure.
Yeah, I really like that analogy.
Deep, thinky thoughts tonight.
I think we were all just kind of like waiting for this one to get going. I feel like I've
It's
been
so
saving
easy
up.
the first week because every track is new and you always have something to say. Wait until like the 40th time we hear this piece. We'll be like, no.
And that's when we just start talking about whiskey.
Then we listen to the piano collections. It's like always what I want to do.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
when I
it?
forced you guys to do that.
It blew up.
Yep.
I didn't do anything.
Sir.
Until.
I really want cookies,
Sure.
I will say. That's the theme of my
Smart.
night.
Oh. It was. It didn't really do much. And now, the bad guy looking guys.
Are blowing it up anyway.
Yeah.
Blowing up. Oh my goodness.
This is a change from the original game, by the way. Shinra, the bad guys, didn't have any agency in the original.
Ah.
Are they just blowing it up?
I have a feeling they're blowing it up to make them like look bad. To make them look attacked, you know.
Oh, I see.
Right, because like the tiny bomb messes with all the circuitry and causes a lot of problems for them, but it doesn't make Avalanche look terrible because it doesn't affect the city itself, right?
Oh, this
Whereas
is
now
gonna
the
look
scale
like
of the
there's-
explosion, people are going to die.
Shoot.
Which
Right.
they don't care doing because they're the evil ones, but then they pin it on. It's a
see.
CR move.
They're trying to make Avalanche look like terrorists.
Right?
This is like a Children of Men thing.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh, we just watched that recently.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite movies.
If I could,
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
you'd be the
I'll
first
take
to
that.
know.
Oh, I've got it on DVD. We should watch.
take
It's
that as
like
a yes.
a fantastic piece of filmmaking.
Huh.
It is
about-
really fantastic.
It's about a future where the fertility rate is dropped, like drastically, like the youngest person in the world.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's about these just different factions of government versus these
Okay, that
terrorist
was
groups,
pretty
like,
cool.
freedom fighters type people
All right,
trying
come
to.
on.
Yeah.
And they did the thing. It was like the first film I ever saw with a continuous shot, where it's just for like
nice.
10 minutes. It's
Wow.
just one camera angle, and they just choreographed all of this stuff, and it's
Holy
so
moly.
good. Grabs you
Whoa.
by the gullet.
Look at that big
Oh my
explosion.
lord!
Wow.
A good one shot is just
Big bada boom.
a thing of beauty.
Can we talk very quickly about how there was the briefest of close-ups on Cloud to be like, hey, anime protagonist, what's up?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we got some
Imagine being
anime
able
gaze
to.
going on.
Oh man.
Midgar, that's the level in Super Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
I'm gonna piece this together bit by
And with
bit.
nothing but a few scratches to show.
Uh-oh.
Spoke too soon.
Is Cloud like a newbie in the group? Is that why Mr. G doesn't like him?
Triggered a reaction with the
He's
moment.
hired.
Well, let's hope the city's still in one piece.
But the
Padding
plan is what
chapter.
matters, right?
I liked this chapter. Whatever.
Must have helped some.
Even though this entire sequence we're about to do for 40 minutes took 8 seconds
We in
in the
Sector 8?
PlayStation game.
Jeez.
All right then, lead the way.
You got it.
You got it.
I like how he's just wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With hockey pads.
Watch
Who's
out.
wearing
Yeah.
hockey pads, right? Like,
Watch out for the live wires.
Protective gear is not to be overrated.
Can't wait to get out in the open.
I did something kind of exciting today. I don't think I've told any of you because I was not in chat, but
It's me.
I multi-track recorded myself for the first time.
Oh, that's fancy
Congratulations.
pants.
I did a jazz arrangement of Happy Birthday, and I recorded it on my violin and my viola. I did a 7-part multi-track.
That's
Wow.
sweet.
And I have a lot of like friends and family having
We need
birthdays
to get out of this place.
right now.
Yeah.
So
My sister just had her birthday yesterday, actually.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
blasting agent?
Hey.
And my mom's is coming in a couple days. I guess my family also has a lot of birthdays right now.
yeah, I
You can
have like
refuel at the base.
7 in the past couple weeks and coming up. So
Yeah.
Is that why we did 7 parts?
How much farther do we have to
no,
go?
actually that was just the chords that I liked, the voice leading the way it was, but yeah, it was really fun. I used Audacity and
Nice.
Yeah.
Stand back
It-
and
That's great.
I mean, it's not like the most professional thing ever, but
Wait to see you.
I usually only record like one voice, so I've
Yeah.
never really layered myself. So that was a lot of fun.
That's
great.
Super cool. I have to
In
start
terms of
doing some of
recording,
that.
Like Audacity does everything Pro Tools does, as long as all you want to do is record yourself. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
I used Audacity for years.
Love
I only
Audacity.
switched to Reaper.
Yeah,
I appreciate how they've tried to make this game as realistic as possible, except for treasure chests that just have potions in them.
Yeah.
Just in the corners, somebody left it there.
people just
yeah.
leave them there. They
I want
we were gonna
somebody
come
to
back
open a
for it.
box and it's like, there's 15,000 gil in here, and the guy's like, F, how am I going to carry all this? Like,
Yeah, right. Encumbrance becomes a part of the gameplay.
So, a question from Musicologist in chat. Based on the other stream watch, what I heard about this game is commentary on climate change corporate overlords. Do you think sound and music plays a role in conveying that message? Yeah, I think we actually kind of talked about it a little bit already. Julianne brought it up when talking about the orchestration of the Mako reactor and how it should. But in this, we're kind of finding, at least with the limited music that we've heard so far in this remake, that the remake's music maybe doesn't so much. What do you guys?
I like
I
this
agree.
track, the one we're hearing now, tied to the announcement of the PA system. It feels very sinister, and it makes the PA system and the corporation feel sinister. I think this works. Whereas the previous one, I agree with Julianne, it did not.
Yeah, it should have been more
Is
industrial.
this the Shinra?
Stop now.
Yeah.
This was just the first reactor, and the planet won't be safe till we get
That weird
Yeah, as long as they have that
right?
Yeah.
and that deep percussion, like snare rolls and stuff, gotta have that. And as long as that's there, that's good.
That looks like Shenmue.
Ultimately, what
bigger picture here.
I want this game's musical story to be about, and I don't know that this will or will not deliver on that, puts me in mind a little bit of Nicola Diven's book on Bjork. Bjork, if you're saying her name right. And he talks about, like, one of the reasons her music is so compelling, and I agree, because I have every single album that she's ever made, is that she does this juxtaposition of, like, kind of unworldly, uncanny valley, technological, dirt and grime and glitch, but then she combines it with her voice, which is just so ethereal and yet very organic. And so there's this, like, technology with organicism happening. And that's what a lot of her music centers on. And that's kind of what I want to see here, because there's so much about, like, the life force of the planet versus this industrialized location that I can't say the original was a paragon of that either necessarily, but they played on the grid a lot more than what we've done so far.
I agree with Jarrell in chat. I want this game, since it came out after Advent Children, after Crisis Core, after Dirge of Cerberus. I want to, especially Crisis Core, which is really the only good one of all of those, I want all that to be acknowledged somehow by the game.
Yeah.
Like, Cloud has an extensive backstory being, like, trained by Zack. So we'll see if we get any of that later or not.
I don't need to tell you.
Right.
There's like some weird thing where his
course
like
not.
his brain is
It's
altered
healing
in some
material.
way. Am I correct about
You
that?
can
Like
have it
he's like
for
memories of
saving my
Zack.
life.
Just doing my
Whatever.
job.
I'll keep watching. I'm
Yeah,
piecing
yeah.
everything together from
Fact
my
is,
one viewing of
I'm lucky you
Advent
were
Children.
there.
Yeah. you're not far off.
The CG in Advent Children was sick at the time. I love the combat
Survival
sequences there.
can be a matter
Oh
of
man, I
luck
loved the one
or
in the
skill.
forest, like the glowing forest.
You
That was
can't
pretty
rely
rad.
on
Yeah.
It's a materia. He's got a materia.
What's a materia?
Materia.
Yeah,
Isn't like hardened Mako energy or something like that?
Right?
Yep.
you do know what I
Is
was.
it like a magical item or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
basically.
like the Espers, Laura.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy VI. It's like
Like a summon.
no, it would be Magicite.
Well, yeah, it's yeah.
Right,
Final
right.
Fantasy
More
VI.
Magicite, because summons do exist separately.
I was only
Or like junctioning
Sort
in
of.
8.
Before I forget,
Junctioning.
here's a little something extra for
Hey.
being
Yeah,
so
you can
brave.
like set it.
That really was the ride of a lifetime.
Oh, I see. I
Well,
see. It's
see you on the train.
Yeah.
the-
Yeah,
the
kind of like
quick
that.
user.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can think of it that way.
Wow,
Sure.
so you just-
Opens up your abilities, but also can connect to your stats and improve them.
I
Yeah.
see.
So
Yeah.
this is now, again, we're 8 seconds from now, we'd be to the next chapter. But walking
Right.
around and seeing the environment, having to see the civilians talk about what's happening, this is cool world building stuff here now.
Yeah.
People sitting
Yeah,
there.
it's actual people.
If you have all the subtitles on, you can see, like, I like overlapping conversations.
Yeah, that's super nice. I like
We'll
that a lot.
get you to a doctor soon. Yeah, like
I brought that up like when I was doing my. I have a couple. Dana, the week that you did when you came in for disability studies for class, and I did a stream of Assassin's Creed just to point out some things that my students had read and some stuff I had given them to look at about what games can do with regard to different kinds of accessibility issues, and we were talking about subtitles, and I ran through a bit of Assassin's Creed to show how subtitles can be good but also confusing, and then when you have all this side dialogue that's not primary characters and you
you just
lose
pick up
all
on
of
everything.
that. That stuff wasn't subtitled in that particular iteration of Assassin's Creed, and I talked about how
Yeah. And
you lose some of that world building, but I
here
really
your
like the way
side
that's
dialogue is on the side and your key
Yeah.
dialogue is on the bottom. I think it's really
Yeah.
well done.
That
Yeah.
is really well done. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like you just said, it's the world building aspect of that that's really nice. I like that.
And it really does. You're just picking up like the one line. You know, you're not getting the full conversation. It's just like you're overhearing it as you walk by. But they depict that visually.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. We all
And
gotta
the
be quiet
comments
for a
about
second,
his
team. This is
sword,
rad.
too are really funny.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It was him. Oh.
Oh, it is him.
Hello.
There he is.
I like
And
how
the
Doug was like,
smile,
oh shit,
too.
it was him.
The little smirk too. You're just like, oh, I don't like you instantly. If you've never played this game, you know.
Right. I want to point out here, this is really well done. On the left, this building dead ahead looks like it could be in Nibelheim. So we have this confusion for a moment. Are we in Cloud's PTSD? Are we in the fire from the Shinra bomb explosion in town? Where are we right now?
Right. Yeah. Totally.
We're actually still in Midgar the whole time, but these two buildings are specifically designed to mess with
They're
the
in that, like,
player's head.
that's
And
a
kind of
good
Tudor
point.
it's
style.
amazing.
Yeah.
And this music is like your most traditional, he's the bad guy, ha 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 ha.
And we
Yeah.
have the filtering over it that also gives you a sense that like something else is going on here. There's another layer.
Yeah, there's like, it's not quite a sepia tone filter, but it's something akin to that, where we know
Yeah.
Cloud is seeing something that's not there.
And it's grainy too. Like, yeah.
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 We lost a lot of the saturation I think it's like
Yeah.
saturation down right in the middle. You know.
Wait.
So Midgard, just to be clear, like this is a huge city in the middle of like a corporate empire.
Right.
And the city is so big, there are multiple layers of the city.
Oh, okay.
So you're like in the slums, as in like there's another layer of the city on top of the city.
Oh, shoot.
So if you look up, you
Very
don't see the
Chicago.
sky. I can't do it right now
Yeah.
because we're in a cutscene. But if you look up, you only see the metal plate.
Oh,
Yeah.
ew.
It's like
Yeah.
very cyberpunk.
You're not
Yeah, and the class. So then it's like extreme class division because of course the people that live up there, you know, have a beautiful looking
Right.
city, but everyone down here it's the slums.
Yikes. It's very 15 million merits.
Sigma
You guys
Beta's right though. Technically, we're on the top and we're going back to the bottom. He's right.
I see.
I have a favor to ask.
Ollie.
Our beloved planet is dying.
You're the plate.
Slowly,
That's in his voice.
Yeah.
silently, painfully.
It works.
Bear to see the planet suffer. Cloud.
Trivia: in Kingdom Hearts, Lance Bass voices Sephiroth.
What?
What?
No, yeah, I remember
So
that.
many things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, what I'm liking here about Sephiroth's voice is he has like this,
Despair.
like,
The ship.
I'm just a whiny little shit, but I'm trying to sound like a badass.
I like that. Yeah. I hope that was on his character sheet.
Yeah.
That which binds us together.
You know, he's like, I'm gonna talk kind of low, cause like I'm cool.
Live in
Yeah.
such a
But when he screams, it's
Jarrell, I
like.
think that's correct. Yeah.
It's one thing.
Really?
Don't
Angel
worry.
plays Squall.
It's a simple thing. Run, Cloud.
Wow.
Run away.
That's a thing.
You have to leave.
Oh, yes, I remember
You
that
have to
too
live.
because I had a crush on both of them. And
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I was never into
Nobody
Angel.
there.
I've never watched it, but I watched
So-
Bones.
Well, I'm saying
Yeah,
in,
that's
in
great.
Buffy, I didn't like Angel. I was a Giles fan.
Giles?
In the
Give me
original
Giles. Give me
PlayStation
Giles any
game,
day.
we're not told explicitly that Cloud is an unreliable narrator for hours. And here's our first big moment where it's like Cloud himself is not to be trusted. So as long as we see things from Cloud's perspective, the game is going to start lying to us.
Undeniable narrator.
But he does kind of. I was gonna say he points out right there that he's like, oh, maybe it's just the fumes. Like he
Right.
doesn't really know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I could see just going with that, being like, yeah, I mean he was just in a ton of flames. So
Do you think this makes the story stronger or weaker? Like knowing the original, like was it more of a shock in the original the first time you realized like, oh, he is very unreliable, or do you think it makes the story more powerful to know from the beginning that there's something?
I think this is a better told version of the story from what I've seen so far. I'm interested in what Julianne thinks about that as well.
I agree with you in terms of the storytelling so far. First 4 hours.
I
Right.
watched, I don't know if you guys saw the Donkey video about this, and like, again, I know nothing about the story, so I'm having a lot of fun watching this blind, but he did not like the changes because he felt like it was beating the player over the head with story elements that otherwise would have been really dramatic when they were unveiled, like Sephiroth appearing way earlier and like physically appearing way earlier in the story than in the old game, and yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about that. Like, do you think
Yeah,
these changes?
in the original game, we would not meet him until we're about to leave Midgar, five hours from now, roughly.
Oh wow.
And we only even see him as like a specter, essentially. We get one shot of him, he assassinates somebody and leaves.
I see.
So he's this boogeyman, but you don't get to see how scary he is. Like, now, like, him walking in the flames, he maybe has killed Cloud's mom. Like, all that's terrifying.
and that little smirk of like, you know, I did something horrible and I enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah, it just gives you like, ooh, okay.
And I think
Maybe it gives us a stronger look at Cloud's character while maybe slightly taking away from the drama of like us as the player. It's giving us a little bit more dramatic look at Cloud as the character.
I also just think it's better this way because the idea that this would be a reveal when it's such an integral part of his character, like we should be seeing signs the entire time.
Right.
Right.
Why should it come out of nowhere?
Well,
if
yeah,
you've had PTSD the whole time?
I think that there's a lot of the pacing of the storytelling is relying, and I think sort of what Weird Horror Guy was saying about if you've played the original, and I think most people that are playing this have played the original.
It's true.
And so there's the knowledge, so they're sort of playing with that kind of former knowledge as well.
Yeah, I would guess there are certain decisions, like the one we're about to see, where they absolutely assume that you know what's going on, because otherwise this juxtaposition, which is fucking terrifying, doesn't work.
Yeah, and I will say something that they've done so far. Oh, there she is. Something that they've done that they did with Sephiroth just now, that I think is important to note. You referred to him as a scary boogeyman. He is still a boogeyman, because what we just experienced, we're not actually sure as the player if that was real or not. Like, here he is again. Like, is he actually there or not? Right?
Right.
You are
Let's
too
watch.
weak to save anyone. Not even yourself.
This is the moment that got me when I first saw it. I was like, oh, F. Almost out loud in front of my students, but I inhaled very quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so he probably wasn't there, right?
Right.
So, like, to a first-time viewer, then, I mean, part of the question here is if they really did not know anything about this game, is like, is Sephiroth, is this character like a real person, or is it just a figment of his imagination? You know?
Right.
They have,
So
in a
it
sense,
works in a
preserved the
different
boogeyman identity, you know?
Right.
And
I do
it's
think
going to make the moment he physically appears really powerful when he finally does.
I heard
Right.
that, you know.
I do feel like having those two sequences back to back of him having a vision of Sephiroth is a little bit ham-fisted to me. Like, I feel like now it's suddenly becoming like way too apparent to me that Cloud is messed up, and it's a little bit less of a mystery that like, oh, this guy is losing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pacing was a little off for
I'd
me.
like a little more separation between there, because if I'd have run and not stopped for a conversation we were all having, it's like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably should have picked one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, that depends on the customer.
I like this arrangement of this theme's music. Absolutely refuses to do the big sweeping orchestration that like 90% of people are waiting for.
Lovers used to get
Yeah, because it we're just meeting her.
Yeah.
You have to have more significance to her character before you can sweep.
Yeah.
Especially since they're just calling her Flower Peddler right now.
Right.
Sure you are. So?
So keep your
There's a
distance.
beautiful short YouTube video of the voice actress for Aerith absolutely crying the first time she sees this sequence.
Aww.
It's well worth tracking down.
Attack you.
Yeah.
I promise.
Hey, a Mako reactor just blew. You shouldn't be out here trying to self.
Mako.
Yep.
There it is. You heard it here first.
By the way, Cloud's not the only one messed up now. Look, once they touch, now he can see it, what she sees.
Oh, shoot.
Beautiful. The romantic.
Mentors.
Very
It
Dementor.
is the Dementors.
What in Harry Potter hell is happening right now?
My limited experience with the Final Fantasy series will lead me to just carve out unique connections with every other bit of fandom that I have at my disposal. So I'm just gonna be like, oh, that's not that, it's this other thing.
And nobody will question it.
Oh my god, they are Dementors. They're gonna
I think
get
we all definitely thought 100% that these were Dementors, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like, it explains how the other week I was just like, this is the Thundercats, because it's the Thundercats.
Sword on the ground.
Again, really, really smooth transition to the combat theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I can hear that. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not gonna put your sword on the ground. You're gonna kill them all because you're just a JRPG. What are they doing? Don't they know you're a JRPG
Oh, they
protagonist?
know you're a They should know from your hair, if not
Yeah.
the sword.
Not
Come on.
The hair
Another one?
speaks volumes.
The hair
Throw a
does
sign
speak
at you?
volumes.
Volume.
The hair.
I'm waiting.
Okay, come here. Bite, bite, bite. Come on, dog. That's
This
right.
like remix of the battle theme.
going in.
And is it did you talk about how this is like this dynamic changes based on who you are in battle?
So long.
I mean like offline. Kind of hard to tell.
Nothing to it.
Right now that so now Get receipts.
Pass the button. Okay.
Oh, I don't have cookies, but I have chocolate. I'm gonna be right back.
Oh, solid. That's a good choice.
I just remembered I have like little dove squares. I'm gonna get those. Dove squares.
That's that. Not bad.
Right, so right here, is that what Sigma Beta was calling? Is this hurry? Or just like a percussion fill? I don't remember. I don't remember what hurry sounds like.
This just feels like fill material of the combat theme on loop with a couple layers taken out.
Right, that's
Na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Right?
But there might be some other stuff mixed in there that I just can't hear right now. Maybe not as filler.
You know, the more I think about it and the more time goes by, I totally agree with Laura. I don't know why we saw Seth for the second time. We absolutely did not.
Oh, I know exactly why we saw him the second time. But I don't want to spoil it in case people are like unaware of the big thing that happened.
Yeah. Okay, sure, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's that. But
right, because think of...
I don't think it's necessary to...
I guess it's the pacing of that.
Yeah.
That was my argument that scene, the second appearance, assumes you know. Because it doesn't work if you don't.
Right, yeah. That's an academic term. Stupid.
Yeah. Percent is.
I'll buy it.
This is a very Final Fantasy 15 town square type.
Richard Tureskin uses it all the time.
Yeah. Stupid.
Well, and we all want to emulate Tureskin.
No comment.
I'm gonna yak all over my equipment.
So you're gonna yak?
Molly does not want to be picked up.
Yeah, Doug, I'm about the comment they just made.
Here.
You're done, trust.
Yeah, I was telling them to
Let's do this.
Oh, are we talking about cats again? Oh. Dan's gonna be so happy.
At the very least, we have to not see his face so much. I think the problem is that you always got close up, and then it was like, here it is again. It's like if the first time we only saw him from the back, and then all of a sudden he was friggin' standing right there, that was like, whoa!
Yeah.
It would have shocked you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh,
I am very picky about story elements in games.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, Molly's just fluffy, and like this tail is very, very huge. And she's the sweetest little thing.
Yeah.
She's like a muted calico, so instead of bright orange, she's got kind of like a tan and then gray.
Oh, that's a chunker.
Oh my gosh.
It's
like
all
a teddy
blue.
bear.
It's like all just fluff.
It's just like air with
Yeah.
air around it.
She spends most of her waking hours maintaining it, so she should be proud of it.
Somebody's gotta do it.
Somebody does have to do it, it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, you'll just have to wait to find out.
Very early into dating Joe, I met Molly and I fell in love with her. I remember telling him at one point, like, even if this weren't going so well, the cat would probably buy you extra months of the relationship.
Nice. So again here we have new variations of a track, which is a really cool idea that's not done very often even in other modern games. Like, that's what you do when you have infinite budget.
I was gonna say, if you have the money to record all of those minutes over and over.
Yeah, I'm well aware that it's a budget issue for most people, but like this is the biggest game of 3 or 5 years, right? Like.
Yeah, money is no object. Money is being with art. It's too bad.
Killing it.
Are we in the slum still? Like, if you look up what's plate, or are we above them?
I guess apparently we're above them.
We are above.
Oh, we're
see?
still.
Yeah,
These are
this
this is a nice place.
I'll look up once we get down. I gotta run first.
See, there's the Chicago theater. I'm telling you, this is old-timey Chicago.
Yeah, just
got the elevated train.
Chicago, you're right.
It has that feel. It really does.
I love the combo of the old cars with like incredibly futuristic technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
I love. Yeah, it's that element of like the steampunk that I really love.
Yeah.
There's our battle theme. I can hear it still.
He's here.
Ooh, I like those stories. Shiny.
See, and then so when the line goes da 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 da, and then it goes mer mer, and then it changes there. It doesn't do the normal thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not actually a fan of that, and I know that's to sort of expand it out and have it have different sections that come in and out and make you be like, oh yeah, that section is there and cool. I just don't like it.
A little bit of memory job. The original battle theme for 7 is just one of my favorite regular encounter themes in any game.
Oh, that's a callback to the Shiver theme? Wait, how does
Dude,
that
get off of me, gross.
Puppy.
Oh, wow, my goodness.
Oh, he loves you.
That's the beast from Ghostbusters.
But he also has a head tail.
Oh yeah, but that's the beast from Ghostbusters. Except for that beast has 2 of them.
Very nightmare.
It's the Ghostbusters dog.
Oh, da 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 da. Okay, let me.
Oh, yeah, I don't like it either, Julia. I don't like it
Well,
either.
okay. Yeah, maybe that's Shinra A. Maybe. I just don't hear it that closely.
I know
but
why
also
they're doing it. I agree, but it's a cool idea. But again, execution not quite there. I'd rather just loop again.
As someone who has no idea like what the original is, what don't you like about it?
So
Yeah.
it's the original motif is like ma ma ma
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
It's good.
Ah!
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Stops the climb.
The Shinra theme.
Yeah, and the climb moment in the original theme is one of like the most satisfying JRPG moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess.
That sort of full tone raise, right?
I guess it's
Instead of. Never mind. I like.
yeah.
Yeah, that's running away from Shinra. Sigma Beta is like every time I say anything, he's like, actually, you know, you're wrong, and you should try.
I like this piece.
And you're rubbish.
The thing is, I can't hear anything on this stream because we're always like, it's, you know,
Yeah.
can't hear anything.
I guess one thing that we have to acknowledge for everybody else watching is that everybody in chat, you guys hear the music much better than we do right now.
We don't hear anything.
Except for, anytime anyone except for Ryan speaks, the music is muted.
Yeah, it's really quiet.
Yeah, so we're just doing our best to pick up moments.
You know, one of the reasons I think I like the original. The original, I think, is in F minor. It's my favorite game.
They're both in F minor, yeah.
Yeah, you know, thinking back on like the industrial area that we started in,
Yeah.
3,000% would have been more effective if that had way more electronic elements to it. And then now that you're out in the streets, unleashed from the bowels of the machine,
Yeah.
it would have just been like, the orchestra's out here,
Yeah.
and it
We
would've
can
been-
breathe!
Yeah.
Right, right.
Totally.
Yeah, it's amazing how orchestration can add that much to like in a incredibly like subconscious way.
Yeah.
Like
Damn
now
it.
the heroes are now the heroes are the main characters.
Oh, I see. So now I'm hearing it. So we do get the original
Yeah.
being presented a little bit. And then it changes. Okay, I like that better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, so yes, it is like, okay, we're mixing in the Shinra theme there, and I do absolutely buy that, yes. But, we, again, as people that have played this game, or at least listened to the music a lot, are primed to hear not that stupid whole tone. So, I can't even hear the Shinra theme. I have to, like, I love piano. I'm like wanting to hear the regular battle theme because I like my JRPG like total switch moment, like Okay, we're in battle. Okay, that's totally separate from the rest of everything.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's what I'm used to.
Bullets hit Cloud.
Oh, my dark past, I can't feel pain.
There was quite literally no reason why a single one of those should have missed.
Really bad.
Like that.
Guy's a soldier.
Have their guns
Goddamn
jammed.
one-man army.
So I commented down in chat, there was the comment about the thing is you can't really breathe, you're still in the city. I think the music here could have upheld the class division there though. So instead of showing us where we actually are, showing us the perception from the characters of like, this is the, the underworld versus the upper world. It could have been more like aspirational in that way.
Right.
And that would have been so cool.
Totally.
Giving public security the runaround. That's what. Had to draw them away from the station somehow.
Elephant's a little booty here. He's ready for prom.
Yep.
Class of 2020.
Public security has this like weird Ghost in the Shell vibe sound to me.
I gotta watch that again. I watched Ghost in the Shell one time and I actually just didn't get it. Like I was could not make heads.
You've got to
tails.
watch Standalone Complex, the anime, like the TV series anime, not the film.
Oh yeah.
Partly because the soundtrack to that is like out of this world good.
At first.
Right.
Only saw them after she grabbed me.
I like that we're facing a puzzling musical decision.
More like a panic-inducing.
It's a cliffhanger. I'm waiting.
Never mind.
Well, we'll have to listen. I don't remember what Sigmund was talking about.
Sigmund, I want to respond to something really quick. You have to understand that we're responding to things as we hear them for the first time right now. So, yes, we're making a lot of broad 100% decisions about everything we're hearing because we haven't heard them before. So, yes, there are going to be some things that maybe we would change our minds about as we got more of the game and more of the experience, and things that we might actually change our mind to agree with you with.
Right.
Right.
I like
Because
having
I know
strong opinions based on very small amounts of information.
I will say too, like other than I already knew that I wanted to like heavily prep for the honeybee in sequence later on. Other than that, because I have a lot of things I want to talk about there. But I have avoided pretty much everything else of this game because I wanted it to be.
They're too close to each other.
I love this. True. I love this part. He's just hitting everybody with that sword.
I'm a
Walking around with a big old sword, and they don't care.
It's true.
It'd be one thing if like everybody had baller weaponry, but it's like it's only him.
It's just that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that guy.
But yeah,
and
no,
the guy with the giant like guy with the gun arm as well.
Right. Yeah.
Nothing to be concerned about here, folks. Just carry on.
The bomb I made shouldn't have produced
But like, like the decisions that we're making are not like 100%. This is the conclusion. I mean, this is what we're reacting to as we hear.
Yeah, we're just kind of spitballing as we go.
Shouldn't a reactor have fail-safes to prevent that kind of thing?
Especially when it comes to kind of the subjective, like, oh, I just, I don't, this isn't striking me, like, right now, I'm not liking this. That in particular, like, don't take our word for it. Like, you do you. Who cares? Who cares what about
Well, I do think it's a good point to think about how the music and all the rest of the design is kind of coming together in really interesting ways. And I think it's important to think about why we're so allergic to some of these changes. And how we kind of hold like a kind of I really, again, I'm going to talk about that Mako Reactor tune like forever. I think that's legit not a good decision. But other musical decisions that are happening and other kinds of pacing aspects that are with the music and the dialogue here. Also, this is a great scene. The Shinra middle managers.
And like one arm man is
Their
like,
names
hey,
are,
Avalanche is
these
pretty
guys'
cool,
names
guy.
are Karen and Chad.
Of course.
Wow.
So I basically just to say that it's so as like nostalgic folks of mostly millennial generation and some Gen X, right? We have certain perceptions and like a sort of like an unboxing at this point of like what are we expecting from this? And why do we hate certain musical moments like with such a strong opinion where if we hear that differently it might be different.
Yeah, totally.
I think the music here is a little bit oddly juxtaposed with what's going on. I would have actually waited on the track to enter a minute and let it just be tense silence.
Right.
Fighting words.
Because we have a rah, 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 like it's really pleasant and bouncy, and this conversation is like someone's gonna get punched.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, Karen's reactions, having not played the original 7, well, and Laura too. I get the sense you haven't played 7, right?
Not at all. I know nothing about
Yeah.
it.
So like your takes versus the folks that are like have not invested in the original, and like it holds a really special place in a lot of people's gaming histories because of when it came out for us.
Right.
It didn't do it for me because I had played quite a few JRPGs. For a lot of people, they're like, this was my first JRPG, and like it changed their life. And so there's an attachment to it. I always liked this. Like, I love this game. But I liked 8 better. But I had also like had my first JRPG already. But we're bringing different baggage to like any change that gets made.
Right.
A lot of baggage. We're bringing a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
I'm
better
the
or
same way
worse.
with like any remake of anything. It's like just the nostalgia factor, like, you know, my extra, you know, outside of the game attachments to the game are informing my opinion of the game. So I actually find this quite fun to just like play this without having known the original, and to just be like, oh, this is cool. They got a big sword. They're walking around with a gun.
I think Emberling is right. Like, they want to use some of the other music.
Residential status.
But also, we didn't talk at all about the finger
All
thing.
that and more is automatically cross-referenced in their databases. Public security wouldn't have it any other
Yes,
way.
Laura, can I quote you on the prom boutonniere on Twitter? I usually like to pull random quotes from the stream and just post them without context.
You do understand what the flower is.
Have a little faith.
Do you want my read on what the flower is?
Yeah.
Because what it is that's how he got some Nook miles.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We did talk about this in the chat a little bit.
For wearing a flower. You gotta get your 500 miles. It's Earth Day. Earth Week.
While the
Earth
soil
Week.
turns to dust.
I'm gonna miss.
Nookie miles. Yeah, I actually thought you were about to say nookie.
That's what I thought you meant.
That's what's always worked for me.
That's my take.
It's like his friend, if you have to like, hey, I talked to a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got skills.
He froze.
Oh, what happened, PlayStation?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we're good.
There it goes.
Okay.
There it
Just
goes.
weird disc load thing.
Discs.
Does Cloud even remember
Loading.
flower stuck on him? I feel like he doesn't, and I think
He's
that's great.
he's too much like, oh, my dark past.
P.S. Yes, I bought the disc version because even if you own the disc, it's 102 gigabyte install on your PS4.
Whoa!
I thought you were gonna say it was $102.
Oh my god, the other day I was like, oh, I'm gonna stream. What am I gonna stream? Maybe I'll download Final Fantasy VII really quick. Glad I didn't. Oh my god.
You will not download that really quickly. Yeah. It's 2 Blu-rays. One is the install Blu-ray, and one is the game Blu-ray.
Oh my god.
How that goes. So they got so Shinra is just like raping the planet of its natural resources. Destroying it. Is that
Essentially,
the gist of it?
Yes.
I did get, in terms of cost, Laura, I got the $80 edition, so I got like the art book. And the soundtrack.
So okay, Sigma Beta, I know what you're talking about. This is we're getting to the part of the game that I have seen already, which is when
Members lost 0.
And one step
and
closer.
yeah, Sigma Beta, I'm right with you about that. 100%. I don't like it at all, and actually for me it's a nostalgia factor thing. So I'm curious to see what these guys who haven't seen it before.
So, do you I mean, to me, the obvious association here is like that was all prelude, and now like it's like the credit hits. Like, okay, now you're in the actual game.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know that I necessarily care for that, but
yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a long time to wait to get into the actual game.
Wait, are we talking about the use of the main theme down here?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking
listen
about?
to it. Let's listen to it. I
And
think
look,
it should be now.
Laura,
right?
if we look up now, check it out.
Oh shoot!
It's actually really cool.
That's
hush, and let us listen.
What do you think?
That's what they went with.
There's a TV monitor that sounds where the Wurlitter's coming out of. Hold on.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of diegetic audio like in this
Nina,
area
that's,
too.
that's cool.
But yeah, so we get them. Ya, da, 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 ya,
Seems a little
here.
out of place.
So here's my take on it. I don't like it chronologically right now, but once you're about to get your own apartment in the slums here, and you're gonna wake up, and Seventh Heaven becomes the main hub area for the entire game, as opposed to the place you sit for 10 minutes and move on from in the original.
Okay.
Using the FF7 main theme for Seventh Heaven, when you awaken and it's daytime and you see the city for the first time below the plate in the day, makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons. That'd be the main theme. But I wanted to wait on it. I just want to wander through kind of silently into the diegetic music until I get to that point 10 minutes from now.
Yeah, just like hearing the people in the city and the sounds and...
I feel like it should just be quiet after all that battle music.
Yeah.
Like, what a nice break that would have been, and then it would have been so refreshing to have something beautiful, like, after you wake up.
Well, and that just shows you, like, the cinematic approach of, like, just thinking so wall-to-wall with music sometimes.
Yeah.
I think more games should incorporate just dropping music and just going to the atmospheric sound, because that is such a powerful moment when you're like, you would be taking in and absorbing so much more of this city because the music isn't doing anything for you, you know?
Right.
It leaves you on your own to just experience.
Right. That's what I like about The Last of Us. Like, there were portions of the story where you're just walking and they totally take the music out so you can just concentrate on, like, picking up little pieces of conversation here and there and stuff like that.
Exactly the Breath of the Wild approach.
Mhm.
My favorite, I mean, that game is just magic in how sparse and the little piano themes that come in.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind a little bit more in Breath of the Wild in a couple places.
Oh, not me. I thought it created space for me to experience the expansiveness of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they brought Death Mountain. We haven't even played it on the stream, but I've talked about this moment so many times. Like, the moment I got to Death Mountain, I remember I was texting with Steve Reale, which doesn't happen very often. So you know this was a while ago.
And the theme here is good, by the way, yes.
We both just were like, oh my gosh, Death Mountain. Because, like, when have we heard that?
Is there another theme playing right now?
Yeah, Tifa's theme is now.
Oh.
Say hi, everybody.
And it entered just before we saw her. So if you were sitting there taking in the city, you'd hear her theme for the bar.
Have you been a good girl?
Yeah, I've become a
girl. Oh, you did you? Well, well.
You made it.
Yeah.
Man.
Where'd you get that? I can't remember the last time I saw a real one.
Girl.
It's for you.
Aww.
How sweet. When did you get so thoughtful?
Yellow flower
Flower lost. That's my favorite. Lost.
So I think somebody in the crew was saying, I think while you were up again, like, if anybody were to be a mezzo, they could imagine Tifa.
Oh yeah, okay.
Totally.
Because she's
a little more self-assured.
Yeah, she's a little more stable.
Yeah.
You know.
and then I also backpedaled and said, or if they're both sopranos, then Eris is like the coloratura, you know?
Totally.
And so at least they'd be written a little differently.
Right.
But I could totally see her being a mezzo.
Yeah. Or Spinto.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's our kid at the bar?
Yeah, jeez.
Hey, what the hell you think you're doing scaring my daughter like that?
Never talk to strangers.
Oh my gosh, she's adorable.
That's right, honey, I do say that. What a good girl you are remembering Daddy's lessons.
Oh my gosh, his voice is just
You know
so
what else
different
good
from
girls
everybody
do?
else's. And like,
go
not
to
in an
bed on
obvious way,
time.
but just like,
Come on.
he's like cartoonish compared to everybody else being like sort of normal.
Yeah.
Talk some more, Daddy.
All right. But just this
He just has her like sitting on his arm.
I was gonna say.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Enormous.
But that's from the
shoulder.
original.
My father never carried me around like that.
Right.
Like they would plop her polygon on to his polygon.
Yeah.
Right. That's how that
Yeah.
worked.
Outside.
Uh-oh, Cloud's not gonna get paid.
Is he waiting to get his money from Tifa?
Yep.
Oh. That little bit of dialogue there right as you're walking out.
Yeah.
Wait, what did they say?
Marlene was like,
Before
so
we
daddy,
get
all
on
the
to money,
died today with
there's an empty
planet?"
apartment in a place just down the
Oh!
road. It's nothing fancy, but I was thinking you could stay there for now. The landlady's a big friend of the cause, so you wouldn't even have to pay rent. Sound good?
Sure does. Thanks.
Follow me then.
I like that he's still like his like broody dude, but he seems to have a little warmth toward her. Like you get the sense that he's known her forever.
That's because, like, people you knew in high school, no matter how cool you become, I can confirm I'm still a dweeb in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
but I like that I got that from the tone in the voice actor's voice right there.
Yeah. He's like not trying to be cool. He's
Right.
More like
Much
himself.
as I could, all things considered. Maybe not enough for them.
we have, like, extreme
You had
absolute
me
space
worried.
going on with
You're
Tifa's
not
outfit,
exactly
though.
a people person.
Right.
How could be that?
So while they're doing their little chit chat, I want to go back to the main theme usage again. I saw this pop up in chat, and I totally think that's what's going on. Is that they wanted to have the main
I'm going
theme
to
somewhere in this game.
quit and come back on because my internet is.
Oh no!
Okay.
My audio is. BRB.
Sounds good,
All right.
Julianne. Doug, I think you're 100% right with that. That Emberling said it earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
But wait until after we sleep here, and it's going to sound a lot
Yeah.
more natural when we wake up and hear
Yeah.
the main theme.
No, I agree. I remember that from the little bit that I saw when I saw the daytime. I totally agree. But it is tough. The nostalgia factor in me has a very hard time not equating that music with the chapter of the game where you leave like this region. You know?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like to me, I will always associate that music to Overworld, right?
Right.
And it's really difficult to hear that and not think
I
about that.
strongly suspect that there will be no overworld in game 2 and 3 of this
Was
thing.
that too much?
No. It's fine. And this?
And yeah,
To me, because I only have heard it outside of the game, it just sounds like a peaceful place. So like if it's him waking up in the morning, that feels entirely appropriate to me. However, if I'm like comparing this to like Chrono Trigger and
Yeah.
like hearing like wind scene like somewhere else in the game, like where
Right.
it wasn't before, I'd be like, whoa, you know, like,
Yeah.
that would throw me off a little bit.
Yeah,
If
totally.
you want anything else, we can always get
There's
it.
one thing. My money. You guys owe me 2,000, remember?
I do. And we'd love to settle up, especially since
The
this was
camera's
your first
awkwardly
job for
like on her
us,
boobs
but
there too. Can we just talk about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been on her boobs like a lot.
We spent
Just
the rest
deliberate.
preparing
Just gonna
the
say.
session. That really is it. But not for long. I'm collecting money for filters tomorrow, so I can pay you after.
And you're sure about that?
Of course, as long as you help, that is.
You're
Wait.
purring.
Then I'd have to pay you for that too. Never mind.
No, 2,000's enough.
Sigma Beta,
That's what we
a
agreed on,
knockout,
so
just walked into
that'll
his
be the
room and
price.
closed the door behind her, and he's like,
With what
"Where's
you
my
gave
money?"
me, that leaves 1,500.
You're the best.
Yep.
I'll see you bright and early at the bar then. Thanks again for everything. Sleep tight.
Hey, Negama,
How
that's
else
a-
will he pay for the hair
well,
gel?
Well played, sir.
Yep. Hair gel ain't cheap down here.
I do like that he hangs up the sword. He doesn't cuddle with it like you do in JRPGs,
Where it's like always attached to you.
right?
Oh, there it is.
He just reaches off camera. It's like sword.
That was silly.
It's also like so in our setup right now we have your stream on one screen and then we have our call on the other screen where we can see the game in both iterations, and it's hard to watch it in real time as opposed to watching it on delay because the stream is excellent 60 FPS like 1080p just beautiful imagery. And man, Skype cannot do that.
No.
I know.
Yeah, the visuals are never as good, but that's a sacrifice we were willing to make to be able to hear the audio at the same time as Ryan.
I
Because
agree.
man, those first couple games, we might have to redo those first couple games we ever streamed. Like,
Yeah.
make all the same points, but make them at the right time.
Did you see how the sword caught on the door?
Yeah, that's why.
That's my. I love that part. I'm back.
Okay, so if this was the first time we saw his face, I would be all about it. Like that
Yeah.
is shocking horror
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
jump scare right there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like,
Totally agree.
Especially after maybe seeing him in silhouette and shadow over the whole time.
So I want the hallucination where everything is burning and this, and I want to cut the flower girl scene with him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Alright, Voldemort.
Right?
What are you doing,
Yep.
Marco?
Potter.
This is his apartment.
Voldemort.
He's got a few problems, but he's not a bad guy. The landlady asked me to check on him now and then to make sure he's okay. Can I ask
Ooh,
you to do the
he has a
same?
number.
Did he just see his like a vision from that guy?
He saw a vision, like the vision was seeing Sephiroth.
Oh.
He thought Sephiroth.
But then he saw like a man in a robe with his hands out like that, right?
Oh yeah, then he saw like those guys,
Okay.
and then he saw that guy who looked like one of those guys on the ground.
I see.
Yeah, and he had a number on his arm. You see that it said 49.
Right.
Yeah, so we don't know what that meant.
Okay, got it.
In fact, I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what's going on.
Man, he didn't even take his armor off.
No. I mean,
Right, because
You have to be ready at all
he's
times.
a JRPG protagonist, right?
Yeah.
I was just
I
impressed he
feel
put the
like-
weapon up.
PJs.
I know.
I like how it
Like,
was
So
Oh,
music right here. If this
It's a
was
nice
the first
touch.
moment you heard it.
like it's just the utter panic and not knowing
Yeah.
where he was.
Okay.
Yeah, here it works.
Oh, that would have been beautiful.
Right here, it's absolutely
Oh,
now.
that would have been so good.
Yeah. I agree.
I want
I
to
mean,
point out while
it-
we have the music
let
in
me
front
point
of us
out,
here. Oh, go ahead,
It
Dana.
still works, even though it's the second time. It just works so good here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I way prefer it in daylight, where
Mhm.
it's like, okay, there's
This
a
is
little bit
very
of
daylight
hope because
zone.
the sun came out.
Yep.
You know?
But
And you know-
there's also just like the hopelessness of the like you're down here and you're kind of seeing it for the first time in a way, and
Yeah.
you're just, like the melancholy just fits.
You must
Yeah.
be Cloud.
Oh,
Yeah, that.
she has great hair.
7.
So how'd you like the place?
I have a makeup brush that looks
Yeah.
just like that hair.
I've been
Right?
It's my dad's shaving brush.
All kinds of companies
Yeah.
and all kinds of reasons.
Makeup brush.
If you ever need a
No, that's
needle,
a shaving poof.
I want her to shake her head.
What's she to you?
God.
The granddaughter I never had. And if you hurt her, I'll take it out of your hide. You hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good.
Hello.
Now you'd
There we
best
go.
get a move
Now we're
on to
back.
Seventh
We had a little
Avenue.
hiccup. I
She's
think.
got a head start
Okay.
on you and then some.
I was on a podcast
actually-
about a week ago with Will Roget about Final Fantasy VII in preparation for this game to launch. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. And we talked about one of the things we both really like about this main theme that is kind of de-accentuated here. I mean, we got it, but it was all quiet until now. Is that it first starts off with the one sweep. Ya da 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 da. Da, right?
Right.
And there's like this scary moment, like, and you're like,
Yes.
Yeah.
wait a minute, what the hell's going on? That's not the world map theme.
Right.
Yeah.
Because world map themes are supposed to be this cutesy florid piano thing you're hearing now,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Well,
We
I
thought
think
that was one of the
original did
smarter
that.
decisions about the original main theme.
Yeah. No, the original does it. It just doesn't do it where it does it in this.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's cool. I was gonna say also, I really enjoy Marl's voice actor. I feel like that reminds me of like, I think I have an aunt who like definitely has smoked way too many cigarettes, and she really reminds me of her.
Solid.
Man, something about having the plate overhead makes even the daylight appear artificial to me.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, if you
Yeah.
look up during the day, you're like, oh, they never see actual sunlight.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that's trippy.
Unless they look out and wish they had it. Yeah.
Right.
It's a really, I mean, this really is the best looking game ever released. I don't know if it comes across on the stream, but it's good, team.
It's beautiful.
This,
Yeah.
this is beautiful.
I'm absolutely gonna get it. I want to play through
I really
it.
want to play it.
I might even stream. We should stream this. It'd be
That'd be
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Marlene's still asleep. Let's get down to business, shall we?
To defeat the Huns.
Although the
Yep.
next match probably could.
I liked that oboe
Just if it
flourish.
reminds you it.
Dun,
Most
dun.
Yeah.
every home in the area
That's
To be
new.
fair,
Folks
I
love
kept
them
my
because they
mouth
practically
shut
eliminate the rotten
during
egg
Barrett's
smell.
attacks the whole
Honestly,
time.
they make us
They were
feel
doing
like
it
this
there
place.
too.
And it's easy
It's maybe not as obvious, but they were doing it a lot.
and get paid. What?
Give me a break. I'm not a salesman. I'm
Ugh,
a
woman
soldier.
talking to me.
Which is
God.
why no one will refuse to pay. What do you say? Please?
I think it does stand for something.
It does. It's something stupid like S.H.I.E.L.D. and Marvel. Don't worry about it.
Great.
Yeah.
And while we're at
But
it,
it is like
I'll
it's
give you
not
the
just
grand tour.
generic soldier, like from a specific type
Right.
of thing, soldier.
My mind is immediately trying to construct the acronym
The,
silent.
the important part about it is that you can't tell because I'm in the bar, but Cloud has bright green eyes, and it's because he's been chemically injected with the magic stuff. The Mako.
Do we know that, like from the story, or?
This version of the game has not yet told us. It is canon and clearly in the PlayStation game that you're told
I
that
see.
explicitly.
I see.
So I know from having played the original, I assume that'll come up later.
Seeing as you didn't bring any
Okay,
luggage,
gotcha.
I'm
So,
guessing there's stuff
like
you need to
in the
buy.
begin, like
Thanks.
in the old game, we
And don't
know
worry.
peripherally that like that's why his eyes.
Barrett's out making his rounds.
You have to get Tifa's
As long
theme.
as I get it all
Oh,
together.
hold on.
Yeah.
What do
Oh,
you want me to
check
go in for?
Go to the jukebox.
Look at eggs and chips.
Right?
Pizza.
Eggs and
Yeah,
chips,
I'll say.
man, my favorite.
Love eggs and chips.
And then you will acquire officially Tifa's theme.
Oh, I see.
Is this chips in the British sense?
I'm assuming this is some weird Scottish thing. Eggs and chips. What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm
I
making
can
eggs
see
and
it.
chips for breakfast tomorrow morning.
Hey, why not? Just freaking
Yeah.
potatoes, man. Eggs and hash.
Wait, does it play the
I
original
love it
one?
how they're shoot. No.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Are we gonna get to Hip Hop de Chocobo tonight?
Yeah, we could. We could just walk around to the right place.
Is it in here? Because we're only 10 minutes or so to go, right? So like,
Yeah, it's in this area of town.
We-
Is
we-
it? Wait.
all right,
We don't
Julian,
have to, but that's a study in
I don't
itself.
remember.
Julian,
He
walk
just-
me over there and I'll do it.
Okay, I literally when I was here, I got lost constantly, no matter how long I was in this area, so I can't tell you where it is.
Oh, can
I
you
bet
look
somebody
on
in
the
chat
map?
could. Yeah, even when I looked on the map, I don't remember where he's standing. This guy who's like, "Yeah, man, check out my mixtape," and it's Hip Hop the Chocobo.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, hold on. We're just gonna run around and do that. Forget Tifa. Hold on.
They go wait a time and be like, turn
Priorities.
left in 4 paces, blah blah blah.
By the way, Bardic, that time has rolled around again.
It's not what the people
Aw.
on TV are wearing.
Once.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, solid. That's awesome.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Got him.
Got him.
Chocobo. Last time with the chocobo on it.
Yeah, they're very weird mixes, at least the few that I've gotten so far.
Ah!
The-
Swag Fam's rating. Hey, Swag Fam.
Hey, Swag Fam.
Hey, Swag
Ah!
Fam. You're just catching us at the end here.
Read.
We are currently trying to find Hip Hop to Chocobo right now, so we are on important business right now.
If we
right.
find it, we have to listen to it. We can't make any noise the whole time.
Yeah, we're not progressing in the game so far. We're basically going to try to track down this guy with our remaining time.
Did you guys hear the enormous roll of thunder we just heard over here?
Wow.
No.
It was like,
It's not coming from the game, that's for sure.
yeah, I thought it was like, oh man, that
Wow.
was crazy.
Well,
It's
I mean-
iconic plate moving.
Are you talking
oh,
about like
oh.
in real life? Because though I'm the only one that would be like.
It's true.
It is near 7th Heaven.
Well, we thought maybe our mics would have picked it up.
Right, it's
but
near
yeah,
7th
maybe
Heaven.
Oh yeah, fair enough. No, I didn't.
I'm going to look up and see. Just
Karen,
around the back
you'll
right.
hear it in like
Ryan.
20 minutes.
I'm gonna go back to the
Yeah.
bar and then you guys
I'm
can
ready.
tell me where
I'm
to go.
listening.
It's around the back right corner of 7th Heaven.
All right, awesome.
I need a mini map in this game because I'm hopeless.
The thing is, Final Fantasy X and 12 and 13 were heavily criticized for the minimap, which I think is part of why it's gone.
Wow.
Should be an option for people like me who. I think it is an option actually, and you just don't have it on.
Instead, look, there's an
It's
Assassin's
not
Creed style
niche.
targeting window at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so
Can
around
you-
the
Very-
back, hold on, these
very
losers,
sensitive.
right?
It's the path
Yeah!
to the right.
Imagine running around with a giant sword in
It's
your back.
that guy.
Here?
Here we are. We got it.
Oh my god, Doug.
Everybody listen.
Oh, there is one. I just pressed L2. What do you know? This is terrible.
I love it.
It's just like the chocobo thing with a hip hop beat and random chocobo noises. Slapsville.
I like Nuge. I'm requesting this on Monday.
Oh no.
I think
it's
it's like my entrance music.
Yeah.
This song's pretty sweet, ain't it?
Yeah, this is definitely something I need in Finale Notepad.
I like that he hands out copies of his mixtape. This is the best game ever.
Oh my gosh, I am making this like my new ringtone.
That's what I was saying. It's my entrance music. When I like enter a room, this is what plays.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is absolutely up there with the DK rap. Hell yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
DK rap's actually good. Shut up.
Oh, this is just so good.
No, though.
Yeah, no.
No. Oh,
It is.
I love
it is. Is it that it's so good it's bad, or is it that it's that bad that it's good?
It really toes the line.
It really toes the line.
It's just like but I think
Bit of column A, bit of column B.
we can be musical about this. We can be intelligent here. We've heard so many things like samba de chocobo, waltz de chocobo, like all these different arrangements of the chocobo theme in genres that have predated the game itself. And I think this might be the first one, or the series, I should say. I think this is the first time that we're listening to it in a genre that is actually post-dates the series, right? Like, it's using a lot of, like, hip-hop tropes from within the last 10
I'm
years.
so mad that you have a smart take on this right now.
You know?
It's really like a subtle look at
Yeah.
the history of hip-hop.
You're
but I
right,
think that's
though,
one of the
like-
reasons why, like, to us, it's like, what are we listening to? You know, it's because it's these are like things that like the especially like the doom doom doom. That's like a very recent thing. You know?
It is. It's very 2010 plus. Sort of like a trap mix of this crap.
Yeah.
Crap mix.
A crap mix.
Well, that's not funny. Thanks for saying it again, right?
Yeah, no, it's very funny. I love
Doug
it.
is trying to be smart. Shut up, Hoagie time. Get out of here. Go change your background.
I came back. I did change my background.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Beat Saber.
I am gonna do some intense listening to that track for next time. I'm gonna have more to say about that. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I need to spend a little more time with it.
Yeah. It's raining cats and dogs over here. Ooh, I can feel it too through the window that isn't very well insulated. Wow.
Raining here too.
Yeah, I'm not really getting it. I gotta be honest with you. It might be raining, but I can't tell. I have not heard the thunder.
Well, you know, we're a little further south than you, so like, just give it a sec.
Oh my gosh, this does need to be on Beat Saber. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look for it.
Kid's haircut. I hate him.
Sounds like a pretty
No.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I thought he was trying to hook up with Cloud as well, and then
maybe.
it wasn't that, and that was stupid.
Is he Lance Bass?
I thought he was trying to hook up with Cloud in here, but it's not.
Suppose I could take a look.
Hey, this jukebox also sounds terrible. It's like the FF10 prelude.
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody crosses their arms like that.
I do.
What? That is weird. He's like clutching his spleen.
Yeah, he's like holding him.
I actually do cross my arms like this a lot. It's an anxiety reaction.
Oh,
Okay, well,
that's
then
why
never
I cross
mind,
my
never
arms all the time.
It's like you're just hugging yourself.
Yeah.
No one else.
It's a little bit like a little look. Self-hugging is really important these days. If you can't hug your loved ones,
Oh yeah, I haven't touched another human being in years.
I feel like I wouldn't There's something weird about the way he was holding himself. It's really thrown me off.
It's just this. He's giving himself a hug. He loves himself, and we should all love ourselves and hug ourselves like that.
Yeah, because we're sure not hugging anybody outside of our houses right now, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Julianne, stop trying to make fetch quests happen. Chef's kiss. So good.
We'll see you around, okay? And let us know when your filter next needs changing.
I don't understand. He looks like a white supremacist.
1,000% with that.
Hey, look, they're rats, just like our house.
Stock up here and
Shifty eyes look to the side.
you could try being a little nicer.
To get free shit?
Our next stop is Stargazer Heights. Landlady's a client.
Let me be very clear. Being very nice to get free shit is absolutely my style.
So be nice. Please.
Just imagine if Rich
Look, you can see in the sword the material.
found
that
the
you
rain.
equipped, by the way.
Yeah.
That is a nice touch. I noticed that earlier. I really like that.
And then it changes color based on the color.
Ooh, we've got scary music time.
Yeah, that's cool. I used to be able to do that.
Thanks for joining
This
us.
is that like latter half of the main theme.
I want to talk about how the music is implemented, when and why all the changes happen. Because I feel like we've had a lot of positives and negatives about that so far.
Be nice.
Like in this sequence of the game, or
Cloud's helping me with
In
collecting.
general.
Bye, Tom.
You better take care of her.
I'm pretty good at taking care of myself,
yeah,
you know.
Do some research.
That I do. Still, better him than you. No charm, no wit. Big sword, but no skills.
Big
sword.
Wow.
Hubba.
I've got skills. I've got
I've got skills.
You're
Love
looking
that
awfully
moment.
glum. Are you getting enough sleep? A
No
good
matter how
long
big your
rest
sword
before
is, you still have to
anything,
know how to use it.
A tried and true lesson for life on the ground floor.
First to live
Am I
by,
right?
am I right?
That you are. Now, your money.
Thanks, Marl. You take care of yourself.
Don't do
God,
anything
Mark.
I wouldn't do.
Apparently, he does have skills if that honeybee sequence is to be believed.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't want it spoiled. You guys are gonna see me watch it on stream in like 5 weeks from now, probably.
I'm already preparing for that week.
Marl's
That's
great.
how excited I
She
am
helped
about
get me
that
set up back
sequence.
in the day.
You been here a while?
I think I'm gonna do my best to not play ahead. I've got Trials of Mana to play on my own time.
We've got
Ah,
to get you
nice.
That game rocks.
Last
It's got a great
Oh,
sound.
the remake, the soundtrack is to die for. I sent you the opening piece, I think.
Oh yeah, you did. That is what that was. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty.
The whole game
I
sounds
played
that good.
That's awesome.
I played the translation of the original one on emulator a while back, Seiken Densetsu 3.
Uh-huh.
That's the one. If I've ever shown you the marimba etude I made,
Yeah.
that's what that's from.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's got the
We're
most
so sorry
marimba
about
best
that.
town theme of
Hopefully
any
this one will
JRPG.
work better.
Yeah.
Save your
You got
excuse.
Swivel, you got Powell.
Hateno
Alright.
Village. Right? That's not an RPG though.
Yeah,
just settle
it's
the
got
bill,
it's.
We'll be
Hateno
on our
Village
way.
uses marimba in a very atypical way. It uses it as like a chordal-like flush instrument,
My
whereas
assistant
like
handles payment disputes.
Sweet little
Secret
cafe.
Man and all those games. Big Out.
Pretty please.
Ah, nice.
That sort of thing.
Sign me up.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Seeing as we're done with our rounds and you've got a small fortune now,
I like
why
Tina's
not
voice
take
a
a
lot.
gander at the weapons?
Very natural.
Well, when will Barrett be back with the rest?
Oh my god, he's so damn whiny though.
Before we open it tonight. It'll be a while yet, so... What do
Yeah,
you
because
want to
the
do?
original wasn't at all like that.
In that case, I've got a suggestion.
I'm not saying it's not true to the original,
If you're
but
serious about it,
and yeah,
You're going to
Emberling's
need to
small
start making
fortune is like
connections.
400 gil, right? It's
it's
like
not
less
what
than
you
the
know,
cost
but
of
who
one
you know,
materia.
You know?
Wow, nice highlight.
Life on the ground
Thanks.
floor.
What?
Yep. Connections get
You know,
you
we
jobs,
don't have any
jobs go to work,
specific
and more
emotes, do we?
How do you
gets
make
better
them?
connections.
Don't they cost money to
How
make?
do I start?
No.
What?
No, they don't cost money. They cost art skill, which I absolutely do not have.
Wait,
I'm gonna
this
make
whole
a plan.
time, this whole time we've been able to like
So let's head up
make
top.
emotes for our channel.
Yeah, you have
Yeah, you
five.
did.
Three to five.
Brian,
Oh,
Wait,
Julian
have you
and I
seen
are
me?
on this.
Do I hold it? Time out. We're ending soon. Do I have any of my students watching right now? Because they know how absolutely shitty I am at drawing, and they don't want to see me do it anymore. Okay.
I am gonna make some dang emotes for us.
Oh
Okay.
my god. Writing this down on paper.
If any of Brian's students are watching, I got so much dirt. Let me know if you want the dirt. Cost you though. Cost you your grade.
No better way to keep you and your family safe.
Huh?
Why would you be like, do you need a weapon to the dude who has a sword bigger than half the people in the entire...
Speaking of the sword, are the green gems significant? Like, is that also
That's the material.
representative? Oh, I see.
So like when you set it, weapon. What's cool is you can actually see it in this.
Cool.
One.
Yeah, here, check this out. Oh wait, not save. Come on.
Buster.
Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm seriously gonna make us some emotes like before next week.
Hey, check it out.
Look, it's red now.
Ta-da!
Or it's purple.
Yeah.
You know. That's so cool. I love that you can see that.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch. I always liked the material. I thought they were all really pretty, but like on like PlayStation, it's like, oh man, those polygons are such a nice shade of purple. You know, it's like it looks really nice in this now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I will literally do some tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Cloud.
Me?
Looking to join the
Recommendations for emotes I should attempt in chat.
Yeah, I want Prince Edward of doing something from Final Fantasy IV. That's like my whole shtick,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Too bad Cloud has resting couch face.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura, I agree.
Like they say, the only one who will look out for you is you.
Cloud's a great fighter, but only we know that. If no one knows him, no one will hire
You should go
him.
beat the shit out of some
Thought if he joined the
townspeople.
watch, he could get
That would work for everybody.
Truth be told, we could really use your help. We can't pay you in gil, but we'll work something out.
We can pay you.
But you know, we'll pay you an exposure. It'll be great.
Right.
What about your sword? I could mod it for you.
No thanks.
Okay, modded sword is kind of a nice barter.
Some kind of purist? I know I'd never pass up a chance to improve.
Yes, this is a very Hamauzu. How do you say it? Hamauzu? I always say Hamauzu.
Yeah, Hamauzu.
Piece, who is the other kind of composer here with original music. Also did Final Fantasy 13, and this sounds like Final Fantasy 13.
Oh yeah.
And I really like this track.
I don't understand how Cloud can hold that freaking sword.
You're like my mom in 1997.
Oh
Like,
man,
how
this
does
is
he hold that sword?
this is absolutely like Final Fantasy 13 right here.
Maybe it's made of plastic.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the secret.
Right?
I figured it must be like some like sort of like carbon fiber sort of
I
like.
was just gonna
Yeah.
say that. Highly durable plastic.
Yeah.
It's made out of oak tag.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
So is this the skill tree? Is this the
Yeah.
But it's a skill planet.
yeah the
The
skill planet?
Have you guys seen my
Ooh,
favorite
this
one
is
about
actually
this? Have you
pretty.
seen Path of Exile ever?
No.
Okay, after we end the stream here in a minute, but before I hang up on the Skype call, I'm gonna boot it really quickly because that game has a skill forest. It's like messed up.
Is that Guild Wars 2? Path of Exile?
No, it's made by ex Diablo
Oh,
developers,
okay.
and it's essentially please don't sue us, Diablo.
Oh, I see. Oh, I'm thinking of Path of
All
Fire
set.
from Guild Wars 2.
Needless to say, you'll have to try it.
I haven't
out.
played either of them anyway. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Trying to think of like emotes that like represent things we talk about on this stream.
Between him and Webb, there isn't anyone they don't know.
I'll march
We
through the
definitely
streets
need an
singing
emote of
your
your cat at the
praises,
very
even
least.
on an empty stomach.
We have Karen's cat too, though. So
Stan made an
Yeah.
appearance.
Stan made an so like we would have to have both.
Cloud,
Yep.
I'll come with.
That's 2 emotes down.
I feel like you guys would do well with like a oh the kitty. I feel like you guys would do well with like a pouring a glass of wine type of emote. A, because you guys are always drinking wine on the stream, but second of all, like
Crystal
Well,
Gobble
we
thing.
also are big like bourbon fans.
Bourbon,
and
gin.
gin.
well, I can also imagine it when like if somebody makes a snarky comment about like the music, you're like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess that you can hire an orchestra, wine, you know.
Right. I agree entirely.
It's a very like nail painting emoji vibe.
Yes,
if you
exactly.
Use it that way.
Exactly.
Did I ever tell you about the time my dad, like, I thought he was sending me, like, a really snarky, amazing text because he used the nail painting emoji, and I was like, Dad, awesome.
An accident.
Because he was like, but it was an accident. He meant to hit something else. But I was like, you were accidentally amazing.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Classic dad maneuver.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, this is the person that he'll, like, sign his text to me. He'll be like, you know, hey Dana, you coming over on Saturday? Like, love, Dad. You know, like it's a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's my favorite thing, and I never want him to stop doing that.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, everybody, I've got to go down and take care of some things before I go to bed. This was awesome for our first week of FF7. I'm looking forward to more of this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
sure.
for having us. Super
Yep.
duper fun.
Yeah, good to get
Hit me up on Twitter with those emote ideas. I'm gonna work on them tomorrow.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Up.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.
Good
Good night, y'all.